dressed or undressed together in the same room. Girls wearing a towel just wrapped around the important areas. Now that is actually, in a way, false advertising, and it's like a little glass bottle, and you drink it with like one hand, and you drink it like nom 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 nom. Hey guys and girls on Ask Japanese, it's Cathy Cat. Do you like having a nice bath? Do you like having a hot, relaxing bath? Well, then you're in the right place, because this time I'm going to give you the ultimate Japan hot spring onsen guide. Everything you need to know before you actually dip your feet into the relaxing waters of Japan. So don't miss this one. There's going to be some help for you before you come, and maybe some things that even those who've been to an onsen don't know yet. So let's go for the ultimate onsen guide. A survey in 2018 said 103 million people used the onsen that year, which is almost the same as the population of Japan at 126 million, which means almost every Japanese citizen went to an onsen, not just the bathtubs at home, to an actual onsen here in Japan. Now, why do Japanese people love it so much? And what are the big problems when tourists come and use those onsen? Even though quite a lot of education has been put out about onsen, there's still a lot of tourists who use it in the wrong way, even though it's number 4 on the top things that tourists want to do in Japan. So let's first start with the basic need to know before you enter the onsen. Number 1, minimum luggage. When you come to an onsen, depending on where the onsen is, and especially if you go out further here onto the countryside of Japan, there might not be a locker. There's generally only, like always, a changing room, but sometimes in that changing room, there will only be some straw baskets. So you get undressed there. There's not even a little cubicle for you to hide in. You get undressed in the same room with everyone around you. I know the first time that is very intimidating, but you just get undressed right there. You will generally get undressed with everyone else in the same room. There is no curtain and there is no cubicle, meaning all the ladies will be in one room and all the gents will be in one room getting dressed or undressed together in the same room. I know the first time that can be very intimidating, but you need to be completely naked. No swimsuits allowed at all. Now you might be lucky and you might have a locker room, but generally, usually at the entrance, sometimes there are special lockers that you can rent as well if you have some valuables that you definitely cannot have. Also, do not bring your phone, because all the phones recently have cameras, and if you film in there, you're in big trouble, even if you're just gonna go, ooh, I'm in an onsen. No, not happening. Don't do it. So have your valuables somewhere else, because you might not be able to store them. With the minimum luggage you can and should bring, there should always be some coins with you. If there is a locker, you can use those coins, and if there isn't a locker, you'll use those coins later. Trust me, you'll need those. I'll tell you in a moment why. You can bring your own towels, but you sometimes can also rent them, and usually shampoo and body soap is supplied there. Sometimes they even have some really nice and fancy ones that you can have as a trial and then buy later when you head out, or sometimes it's just very basic. So it's up to you if you want to bring it. I'm surprised you are allowed to brush your teeth there. I've seen quite a lot of people do that, but again, be careful. Before you use all the things in there, also be sure to wipe them down with a little bit of soap and spray them with some water before you wash yourself. Number 2, I already got into it a little bit. You need to completely wash yourself before you enter the onsen. Meaning, not just a little bit of water splashy here that you might do before you go into the pool. Nah, ain't happening. You need to be squeaky clean, meaning you have to wash your hair properly with shampoo and everything, rinse it properly with your body. Also, shampoo, rinse it, everything, every nook and cranny should be super squeaky clean. That's because there's not as much chlorine in the water, and you kind of want everyone else to do the same. You don't want to sit in a soup of other people's bodily fluids. So on that note, make sure you're incredibly clean before you go into the bathtub. They also call it kakeyu, which you'll also be seeing there. There's usually a little scoop as well, in which you can just splash a little bit of water on you. I recommend using that after you showered completely. So for example, shower, get everything squeaky clean. Wash off the soap. If you accidentally carry some soap into the bathtub, you are in big trouble because you ruined kind of the onsen. So make sure you're super clean de-soaped, and then maybe use a bit of the kakeiyu, which is the hot water as well, to kind of get your skin used to the heat of the upcoming water. Because trust me on one thing, onsens are hot. And this is the most important thing too. In order to keep up the harmony of an onsen where everyone is bathing together, treat that space with respect. Don't litter, make sure you're super clean, make sure everyone has a good experience. Now, you are naked. You're completely clean, smelling of roses or whatever soap there is. And now, it's time for the good stuff. It's time to take that bath that you've been waiting for to having, and trust me guys, it's worth it. But here are a couple of things you need to know before you actually hop into that freshly run bath that is going to be there. It's not freshly run, but it's there. Oh my god, now I'm shivering. First of all, make sure that the temperature matches yourself. I know if you guys come from Europe, you might be thinking, oh, I've been to hot springs before. Don't measure them on Japanese standards. They're a lot hotter than the average bath. So before you go in, maybe check the temperature and maybe definitely you should start with one that has a lower temperature and then work your way up from there, not to give your body a shock. You might not be used to the heat, and it's totally okay not to go in the same bath that Japanese people go to. I sometimes had to give up on certain bath types. They're just too damn hot at certain times. Now, other things you need to know is when you go into the bathtub, if you have wonderful hair like I do, or even any type of longer hair, be sure to tie that up. You wouldn't want to go into a bathtub and then, you know, have other people's hairs in it. It's gross. So make sure that you tie your hair up in a way. Some older people wear like some fancy bath heads, but you don't need to do that. If you really tie it up nice and high, don't let your hair touch the water. Same thing though, no diving, because obviously then your hair is totally in the water, and no splishing and splashing and swimming around. It's not a pool. Do not treat it like a pool. Do not splash your friends with water like in a pool. It's a place to rest, it's a place to relax and to cleanse. So don't do the same kind of stuff that you would do if you were in a pool. You might have seen a TV show with cute idols on anime or manga where girls wearing a towel just wrapped around the important areas and then enter the bath like that. Now that is actually in a way false advertising, because not even a towel is allowed inside the bathtub, meaning those towels do not go in the tub. You can have them somewhere stored, but do not take them with you. You can maybe have a little towel folded on top of your head, but don't let that bath towel touch the water. And sometimes they are smaller. If you go into an onsen, there's like smaller bathtubs that are like for one person. If you're lucky and you get one of those, be sure that you don't overspend your time in there. So maybe spend around 15 minutes, but then make sure that you rotate around and use the other bathtubs and give other people a chance to use it. Also, if you are in a group of more people, you're probably gonna cause a little bit more nuisance if you're all like talking and stuff at the same time and you're all taking up a bath. So make sure that after 15 minutes you rotate and go somewhere else. And again, especially for those really chatty types, I know you want to chat with your friends, but keep it down. Don't shout too much. Don't overtake the space. People are there to relax and just, you know, chill and give them that time as well. Just look out for your neighbors, not only for your friends, but for everyone else who's in there. Onsen. N-E-X-T! Onsens can potentially also be kind of dangerous, so please be careful and watch out for that. Some of these things I can tell you is usually onsen inside has quite a lot of ingredients. There might be some things that are really good for your skin and such, which is great. But if you use these kind of things, you might slip on the floor. It might be kind of slimy, sticky. That's the kind of consistency some onsens are. So be careful not to slip. Also, with the heat, I mentioned it before, you can actually get dehydrated. You can also really, shock your system if you bath too hot for too long. So pace yourself, take breaks, and also make sure that you drink enough water. Don't try and go into the 42, 43 ones, really hot ones, and then, forget about the time. I mean, it's good to forget about the time, but just be careful of your body. Sometimes onsens also have saunas attached. Again, they will show you a certain time you should be in there. Oh, don't overstay that time. You can make yourself seriously sick. Also, if you've eaten quite a big meal or had alcohol beforehand, it's not advisable to go into the onsen. But what is always advisable is to drink. Usually they have a little fountain there, so you can drink water there for free. It's drinking water, it's safe to drink. you will know you've been a lot in the onsen when that drinking water suddenly changes taste and will taste so much better. That's when you know you've definitely gone a little bit dehydrated and you need that water. My little hint is actually don't just rely on that little drinking water fountain because you only have little sips. My recommendation is get yourself a bottle of water before you go in and then maybe refill that, because you'll definitely need at least half a liter to just refill all the stuff that you actually sweat out. So, you know, stay on the safe side, guys. Yuzuri-ai is an important word here in the Japanese culture and also for having an onsen, and that's to share, meaning this is a shared space, and like I mentioned it earlier, treat it with respect and also swap around with other people. There are other things you should not do in the onsen. No, I'm German, and we love reserving our seats and places with our towels, don't we? We kind of have a bad reputation for that. Also, again, don't do that in Japan. All my German kinsmen and everyone else who loves to reserve places with a towel or items, you can't do that in onsen. Usually there isn't even no space. You can't even reserve one of those little shower parts. So all your items usually go into a little shelf, store them in that shelf, and once you're done, pick it up. So far, no one has ever nicked any of my, makeup or, makeup remover items or like shower item stuff. That doesn't go away. So don't worry about that one, but don't reserve a space. Also, number 2 is do not blow your nose. You know how some people do or spit on the floor or something like that. It's gross. People walk their bare feet. So make sure that that area is clean. There are usually toilets attached to if you need to go and like blow your nose or something, just hop into the toilet. There's some tissue paper around that area, usually the entrance area as well. Just make sure that the space is clean. Feel that? Smell? Big breath. Feel that? All the girls say. Okay. Also, if you feel kind of off on that day, even if you're coming with friends, be honest. If you don't feel like bathing, don't do it. I once did that mistake. I wasn't 100% happy. I wasn't like 100% myself. And I had a bath that was too hot. I got really sick afterwards. So if your body is telling you not to bathe, don't go. Also, girls, in case it's ladies' day, don't go. I know you want to go with all your friends and maybe all of them are off their lady days, but if you're the only one on, you can't go. There is no, I'm gonna use a tampon because I can bathe, I can swim with that. No, don't do that. Even with the tampon, you shouldn't be using the onsen. I once asked if Japanese girls do that to another Japanese lady, and she looked at me in shock. She was absolutely terrified at the suggestion of entering an onsen, even when you're wearing a tampon. It's just no. If it's your princess days, your lady days, your, time of the month, shark days, just don't go swimming. Don't take that shark to the onsen, okay? And finally, you need to enjoy that experience. So sit down, relax, take a deep breath. And if there are other Japanese people with you and you should make eye contact, be sure to give them a smile, You're kind of in maybe their local bath and this is where they daily go and suddenly there are those strangers coming in. Be sure to give them a smile, make them feel welcome. And generally, I have the sweetest conversations with older ladies. They usually go, where are you from? And they go, ask where you're from. Oh, this is great and stuff like that. So, that creates that loving, caring, and wonderful atmosphere that you can get in the onsen. So be sure to give them a smile. Even if you don't speak Japanese, give them a smile. Now, after bathing, there is still quite a lot of things to enjoy. First of all, if your body tells you to go out of the water, go out of the water. Even if everyone is still staying in there, go out, relax in the other space. Once you go to the changing rooms, what I can recommend you, when you went in the first time and you brought maybe your own soap, bring that own towel. Before you enter the changing rooms, you need to be dry, meaning you cannot walk from the bath to your locker and take out the towel and then pat yourself dry. I got told off for that. People get very angry because you drip the water on the changing room floor, which is sometimes made out of tatami or similar materials that actually damage with too much water. So what you need to do is have that towel when you first go in and then pat yourself down before you go into the locker room. Don't go in there wet. Seriously, I got told off. I won't ever forget that now. So pat yourself down, go to the locker, and then you can get changed. But there's another nice thing that you can do, and it's generally for us ladies especially. Usually when there's a mirror, there's free tissues to use. There's usually also cotton buds in case you want to clean your ears, or maybe, have some makeup residue that somehow survived all that washing and cleansing. And what's usually quite nice is if you go to a nice onsen, there's gonna be a row of beauty products. There's gonna be a row of beauty products. So there's gonna be some like moisturizing liquid and then some moisturizing milk. And there's gonna be a couple of other things that you can then test out there. And if you like it, you can even buy it in the shop later. But usually they're there and they're for free. So make use of those. I generally always bring myself a face mask just to like, because your skin open up with everything and you're so clean. If you pop on a face mask, a nice cool face mask after you've been in the hot onsen, that's great. Also, if you're the type who doesn't like to sweat after the onsen, make sure you shower yourself down before you go with a little bit of colder water that will stop you from sweating. In the changing rooms, there's also going to be big ventilator fans so you can stand in front of them and cool yourself down like this. It's one of the best things. And once you've done all of that, there is generally a vending machine in your changing rooms or outside your changing rooms, and that's where those coins come in handy. What I usually like to do then is the coin that I got back from the locker, if there was a locker, I then use straight to get myself either a cold drink or cold energy drink that will kind of replenish all the salts that you lost. Or what's very, very popular in Japan is getting kohi gyunyu or some kind of milk drink. And it's like a little glass bottle and you drink it with like one hand on your hip and you drink it like nom, 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 nom. It's the Japanese way. You gotta do it like it, just for the experience. So one more time before leaving, don't forget, shower yourself down a little bit, washing off all the things that you might have bathed in, maybe cold water or not. Pat yourself down, go over to the changing room, get changed, put on all those nice things for your face. You're gonna have the best skin after this ever. And be careful, because all of that in and out is usually where it's the most slipperiest. So just be careful not to slide on your way out of the onsen. Some of the items that I mentioned around the girls' changing rooms are also in the men's room, and some hair tonic and similar, so be sure to look out for that, boys, and have a look around at that one. Now, if you go to an onsen, make sure you enjoy the time. It's a wonderful experience, and I tell you, afterwards your skin is going to be amazing. I like to generally massage my calves just like slightly when I'm in the hot bath, because on the next day I have the skinniest legs. I love it. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed these tips, the ultimate tips for taking an onsen in Japan. You learned something new. Be sure to remember those when you come to Japan to make your onsen journey a full success and enjoy it to the most. I promise you guys, you won't be disappointed. I loved it. One more thing though, be careful if you have a tattoo that you check beforehand if they will let you in with a tattoo. Sometimes covering it is okay, sometimes talking with them beforehand is okay, but make sure you tell them, because you don't want to get turned around at the door. So be careful about that one. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll catch you soon for more stuff on Ask Japanese. Don't forget, we need that like. Please give us a like so more people actually see this kind of content, and I hope I see you soon for more stuff here on Ask Japanese. If you're subscribed, you'll see a video from us pretty soon. I'm gonna give you some more info about Japan. So thanks for checking us out, and I'll catch you soon. Bye! I really need an onsen now. I sweated so much. Oh, by the way, Japanese people use an onsen in winter and in summer. There is no problem with using an onsen in summer, and I love to do that now.